What does it mean to make meaningful collage papers? Well, in today's video, I'll be creating 3 collage papers that hold an emotion, one that I've been needing for so long, and that emotion is calm. So when I'm creating these papers, I'm starting with flowing marks. I'm using aqua blues, anything to me that feels calm. You might choose other colors, but for now, all I need is it to contribute to that feeling. And this paper, or these 3 papers, will become part of something later on. And in my videos, if you've watched my channel, I've said this repeatedly. Oh, I need more of this paper or more of this. And it's usually the feeling of the marks or the shapes or the patterns. And it all contributes because intuitive art is more of the feeling of your true self. So, what's one feeling that you would like to hold, either in a collage or an art journaling page or a painting? That's what this video is about today. And don't forget, I also am offering a 5-day free course if you're interested to get started with intuitive art journaling. So let's get started. Want to start creating art that feels like you? Join my free 5-day course, Intuitive Layers for Inner Exploration, a gentle, beginner-friendly journey into meaningful mark making, layering, and self-discovery. Start where you are. No experience needed, just curiosity and heart. So before I start, I pause, breathe, and of course, trying to stay present, thinking about that feeling of calm. I'm starting with the pencil. I'll move to other tools. And I'm also using my opposing hand. And I'm just trying to drop down and really feel this feeling of calm. I'm using text pages just to change it up. And I really love these as sort of a focus or a center of focus on whatever piece of art I'm using, which might be an art journal page, most likely, and even a painting. So as you can see, I'm doing 3 at the same time, trying to maintain that flow. This is a water-soluble graphite, and I love it for its darker marks and that smudgy, grungy kind of feeling it can make, even though I'm not doing it now, but you can do a watercolor wash over it, just with your brush. Underneath are some more samples of just starts, but I didn't want to confuse those with today's collage because I just wanted those 3. Feeling calm. Old book pages are wonderful because when they age, the different papers go different shades of that old neutral. This is an old, cookbook. I love finding these interesting books in my favorite bookstore. And I'm just making some room. I'm zooming in close today so you can really see. I was going to add the black to the paint beside me, and which is teal, yellow oxide, some orange, natural, and neutral, and black. I love this brush because of the scratchy, messy mark it makes, and I discovered this during my 100 days of 10-minute art project, so you can check that out. The category is in my video channel, and this is a craft brush. I love the scratchy craft brush. These are tools that you might have around, and if you don't, they're very inexpensive, but instead of going out and buying, just use what you have. On the left is a collection of all of my, of a special selection of my collage scraps. And using your scraps up, which can really build this specific collage technique, is a great way to use them. It's also a great way to explore color, layers, sequencing of layers, and of course, feeling, especially the feeling of calm. And to me, that's a turquoise or an aqua blue. I guess because it reminds me of the water. I notice when I look back and reflect on my work, there's a lot of water element in it. So if you're new here, welcome. I'm Michelle Holden, and this is where I guide you through beginner-friendly journey into meaningful mark making, layering, and self-discovery. Did you notice those two blues? Turquoise and teal. What a beautiful combination. So you might start experimenting with maybe just two blues, keeping it simple. We don't want to be overwhelmed with a lot of choices. And if I was to use so many colors, to me, that isn't calm. That's dynamic. That's energy. You might have a different perspective. And that is okay. So, as you can see, using the brayer, it lifts, it saves drying time with the dryer. And now I want to push back some layers with white. That's titanium white. And I just want to use my color shaper differently this time. I want to make a curve. Let it sort of guide the way. And what I'll do is I'll echo that same movement, feeling, but maybe change the direction. But these three papers will be very similar, but not the same. Oh, this time I chose to use my brayer. I love that. So what feeling would you like to express? What feeling do you find is mostly in the work? What's showing up all the time? This is a great meditative practice because there's a lot more going on when we create in this way. It's called neuroaesthetics. It's so incredible. So now we have the three here. And I'm choosing, okay, what collage pieces? So that's nice, but to me it's not calm. It had a lot more energy. So I want to bring down the energy. And this is tissue paper, where I just experimented with different tools. That could be anything from a stick, brush, anything you find around the house. So I'm using the brayer passing it one more time, just to make sure it's dry enough. Cleaning up as I go. So tearing is a really nice way as well. This is a charcoal, but it wasn't picking up, it wasn't showing. It's very subtle. I wanted something a little stronger because I usually like a darker line showing underneath the translucent or transparent collage paper that I'm going to put on top. loving my new aqua color here that I just purchased. Liquitex is the paint I've been using lately. Especially for this, it's a good enough pigment without costing too much. And watching the amount I'm using, when you mix the this neutral titanium with the white and the aqua, you get this beautiful patina. I love it. And even love it more when it's partnered with the turquoise, which is the darker blue on the lower right of my glass palette. So getting into these more circular strokes, thinking calm, covering the text, but you know you can still see it. And bringing some of that neutral of the outer page in. So using one color with white, a dark, you'll get a lot of variation. And it's the simplicity of it that comes through. So I'm just switching, and it's really good to work with a bunch of papers at one time, because when you're working on the others can dry, and you just keep the flow maintained. It's the intuitive flow that I'm referring to. So stay tuned to the end, because I am going to add some collage next, and some very fancy, which doesn't seem fancy, but these papers are almost like an artwork in themselves. I can't wait to use them. I think they're going to spur on a whole little mini series of these colors. I don't end up using the orange very much. I find it's not a calm. I knew that at the beginning, but I just put some down anyway. So just the yellow oxide and the two blues with the neutral and black. Notice this paper, when you put it down, and I am going to use the gloss medium, the fluid, with a color shaper, or you can use a scraper, you can use a credit card, you can use a brush, whatever you have. It's more moist, and this just melts away, revealing the under layer. Yes, I could have put black marks on top, but it wouldn't have had the same effect. We're going to keep going. So far there's at least, there's marks, 1, 2, 3 layers, more, four or so now layers on these collages. I refer to these as my gestural collages, because they end up being very rich in layers. And yes, I will tear them when I need them. I might not need the whole piece, but just a section. And that's the letting go part that I love. I'm just moving these up so everything's in the frame. That was a scrap left over. Love it, and I love it torn. It's just more of an organic feel. Notice I'm tearing them in different sizes, different numbers, different shapes. Well, almost different shapes. Placement, it just felt right there, but don't forget, if you're going to use the collage, you're going to tear a different section. And this is such a great practice. Even if you're not ready to do it in an art journal, you can just work on just paper. It would work on copy paper, drawing paper, newsprint as well. I love newsprint because it's such a nice neutral. That piece that I just showed you is the roll off from my brayer from many, many art journal pages. That was the piece from Create With Me. So if you're not signed up for the Create With Me live series every Tuesdays at 2, please do so. We've been having fun. Number 3 is coming up this coming Tuesday. So this is a piece of deli paper, just with a very thin layer of my light blue. Notice the puckering there, so I just smooth it out with my finger. And I'm noticing we do need some contrast, but I didn't like that long because it's not torn. The edges are clean. So I thought, well, let's just tear the middle part. Adding a contrast is really important. Not necessarily so important with collage papers, but I just felt it needed to be there. So tearing, and notice I always tear one larger and one smaller, so they're not the same. Okay, here comes this gold tissue paper. I just love it. This is just tissue gift wrap. I save it, especially if it's an amazing color like this. And it goes on so well and smooth. I love pairing it with my gold pen at the end, which you'll see, so stay to the end. Thinking that that would look okay. Maybe adding a little black to that yellow oxide would have worked, but this is still interesting. I'm noticing I'm going in the same corners each time, which is okay. I wouldn't necessarily do that if I was making a series of paintings, but for collage papers, it doesn't matter. You want to capture that feeling. You don't want to be thinking. You just want to be responding. So I realized every piece needs a piece of this gold, wherever that might be, right there. Perfect. So I wonder what doing these same marks with yellows, different feeling, reds, oranges, greens. You can only imagine the collection of collage papers you would have. And you would also need some just solid colors, and you want to mix this. These are sort of the special focal point ones that are now going to, you can see I'm going to make some solid jelly plate with deli wrap, turquoise, aqua, and just subtle marks in them. So maybe that's another video coming up. And maybe in the comments below, if you want me to go ahead with this series, which would explain, okay, now what do I have? I have these different feeling, meaningful collage papers. What do I do with them? Well, there's so much you can do with them. What I plan to do is a series, a mini series of small, probably on Cradle board on wood panel? We'll see. I haven't even thought about that much. But let me know in the comments below. I love how this paper melts. And you can see the layer below or underneath. So, using these same colors, changing the value. Just playing and exploring. So I will be hanging them up in the wall that is behind me when I'm speaking to you in the intros. And I'm planning on putting a big collection up there. And when I have them up, they can remind me, oh yeah, I want to do that. Notice that's too dynamic, the orange, for calm, at least for me. Just putting a little orange in there. It's still too bright, so let's see what I do. If you were using a color shaper, you could just scrape it away. You could lift it, or you could just cover it. So I chose to maybe I'm just gonna leave it. Oh, so I scrape through it, which reduces it, and then I decide to lift it away with the brayer. So we're nearing the end. There's so many layers. So using negative space from previous cutouts. Using my corrugated cardboard stamping piece, and I'm not going to use black this time. I think I choose to use the turquoise there that's left over, and just bringing in some beautiful organic horizontal lines. And notice how it pushes everything that's under it back. I almost changed my mind there, but I thought, nope, I want to stick with this color in case I want to use different parts of the collage on different paintings or on the same painting. And so I'm finishing up with my favorite gold pen with calming lines. And these 20 minutes were very, very calming. So if this video resonates with you, you'll love my regular Sunday vlogs. You can also join my free course, which I mentioned at the beginning of the video, to begin your intuitive art journey. And don't forget to sign up for my email list because there's a lot more coming soon. So happy creating!